My name is Joe.
Okay, give me 1 second. We're gonna make sure everybody's in. We'll put everybody on mute and then we'll have you start.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Let me know when it's thumbs up. That delay is killing me. Okay, we're good. Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to the Community Relations, 11th Precinct Community Relations. My apologies for running late, but I had to take care of some stuff today. So we are going to start a few minutes late, but we're going to keep it moving. So myself, Kim Jackson, I'm the president of the 11th Precinct Police Community Relations Council. Leon Wire is our treasurer, and I have Judith and Dr. Moore as my sergeant at arms. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up in prayer. So, Commissioner Birch, can you please open us up in prayer this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to everybody and to everybody on this call. I pray, Lord, in the name of Jesus, that we invite your presence into our meeting, that we collaboratively share all of our concerns, that we do it in decency and order. We ask prayers upon all those that are sick and in the hospital and that have lost loved ones. We pray for our Detroit Police Department. We pray for Ms. Kim Jackson, the leader of our community relations. We pray for everybody on this call, and especially the citizens of District 3, where we are going to make a difference by respecting and love where we live. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Commissioner. I appreciate that. We got a pretty big agenda today, so I'm going to get right into the president's report. I just want to say, first of all of you people have been texting me, asking me about Dorna. I did get off the phone with her probably 20 minutes ago, and she's doing well. Hopefully, she'll be back with us soon, and we can be able to move forward a little bit. So she's doing good. Her health is better. She's been in the hospital December. She went back in again in February, but she is doing well now. So hopefully we should be seeing her maybe by our next meeting. So fingers crossed there. I see some of my officials on, so I would like to try to reach out. And if I forget anybody, please forgive me. Chalk it up to my head and not my heart. So, Commissioner Birch, would you like to start out?
Yes, ma'am, I have no problem. So I would love to share the issues and concerns as the police commissioner of District 3. I get many calls, and remember, everybody, I'm not speaking negatively. I am speaking the truth and the solutions that the citizens ask me. What can we do to assist our police department? One of the complaints that I receive often is that they do not see much police patrolling the areas at all. So they tell me, when do we see the police? But what they do see, everybody, is these criminals that are constantly doing the donuts in our street, in the middle of the street. It doesn't matter what hour of the day. They do it in the broad daylight. They do it at 3 o'clock at night. Recently, the last one, Ms. Jackson and everybody, was done to the Church of Pleasant Grove, where the lot was open, but they go inside of his church lot and they just do all the donuts they want to do. And it seems to be that they're never caught. Now, the other issues is that I received complaints about drug houses that they contact number 11, but there's no one to go and solve the issue. The same with the, I get a call from the people who talk about the slumlords and about, what do you call those people that, squatters, thank you, Holy Spirit. Squatters that seem to come into a nice neighborhood and there's nothing they can do about it. They constantly stay there. And the other thing I want to say, Ms. Jackson, really, if you don't want me to go that long, I have a list of things to say, and they're not all complaints. There are good things I have to say, but these are important things. So would you like for me to continue, or do you want me to wait?
We need you to just go ahead and continue, Commissioner, because we do have a full agenda and I want to try to get to
Okay.
all of our representatives as well.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, well then I will share what that we've been doing in 11th Precinct as a love token to our seniors. And when I say that, I'm speaking of people at the age of 87 up to 101. We visit through the 11th Precinct, our NPOs, go to Lomax Temple Church. They receive a food basket. I myself receive these seniors that are homebound, so they can't get out. So my leaders that I've contacted in the area of District 3, they tell me who these people are, and then we assign it to the NPOs with a chaplain. That chaplain goes to that particular address, and they pray for that person, and that's what they do, and they leave Love Where You Love sign to put in their yard. The next thing that is good about what we're doing is let's see. Oh, what's going to happen with Dr. Grenade Dudley's group, and that's the Youth Connection. Gary Brown has committed that he is going to paint all of the fire hydrants in District 3. That's a done deal. So we know that, and we're very happy that Mr. Gary Brown is going to do that as a beautification. And our last thing we're going to do, Ms. Jackson and everybody, the strip of Outer Drive is where they do a lot of the racing, like everywhere, but we're trying to beautify that island from DeQuinda all the way to Van Dyke. So we are in the business of improving our neighborhood, but we just need more presence of our officers. And then again, one last thing is that the 8 Mile Boulevard Association is back. They're collaborating with the strip of 8 Mile, that island that separates the suburbs to Detroit, that we want to have that strip beautified. Now, all these are dreams, but when you dream and have God on your side, it will happen. I think that extends everything I have to report. If something comes up at the end and you allow me, I will share that. But thank you, everybody, for hearing it. Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I
Now
can
we
hear you. How
can.
you doing, Ms. Jackson?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Hey, I got confused with this.
Okay,
I don't know if it's
okay. Okay, so State Rep Cherie Tanada, how are you this evening?
I'm very good, President, Madam Jackson. So thank you for letting me give you my update. I will be very quick. We just had a 2 weeks of recess with the State House. But before that, we worked on 15 different healthcare bills, including reducing copays and bringing more transparency so that pharmacies are required to give information if a generic is cheaper than a branded medicine. So there is several bills that we did to increase healthcare access to our constituents and lowering the cost of prescription medicine. So that's what we've been working on. We are also working on bringing transparency to our government. Currently, the governor, the lieutenant governor, and lawmakers are not subject to freedom of information. And we are trying to change that. So we are working on that. We're working on the budget. We're trying to get more money for COVID testing. We're getting more money for our schools. So we have gotten federal money through the CARES Act and more recently with the $1.9 trillion federal package. We're trying to release some of that money to the community. And there's been a little bit of a fight with the Republican majority. but we are working through all that. We're also trying to resist their attempt to limit our voting. They're putting all kinds of obstacles to discourage voting, especially voting by people of color. So we are really fighting with that. They have introduced 37 bills, and we're going to fight that so that it won't happen. And I think it's really Republicans against democracy. That's what it's becoming like. And we are working on it. We have your back, and it's an everyday struggle being in a minority. But we have your best interest, and I'm trying to bring money for the city of Detroit. I introduced a bill to bring $94 million to Detroit public schools. So there's a lot that's going on, but I'm working for you, and please reach out to my office if there is anything we can do. I have put my contact information, or I will put my contact information in the chat. But I don't want to take too much of your time here, but thank you all. Good evening.
Absolutely, and thank you for what you're doing too. Appreciate it, State Rep Tanadar.
Thank you, ma'am.
I see Mr. Wells. How are you this evening, Mr. Wells?
Fine, Madam President. Thank you so much for asking. Just got a couple of things from the Commissioner's office, Irma Clark Coleman. The Wayne County gonna do 12 cuts this year, cutting the grass 12 times this year. They're only gonna sweep the street 3 times this year. Okay, everybody understand that. The other thing is that they added on a new one other additional crew. They only had 1 crew, so they have 2 crews now. So they're saying they'll be able to do work more better. There's a new project going to happen on the west side of town over by with Paul Robeson Finkel and Linwood. They're going to have that. You may have seen that. That would be a nice project also. So that is basically what else did I have? We still have some masks. We have some kid masks now, some smaller ones. So if anybody need any masks, let me know. We'll get them to you. And what else? I think that's about all for now. If I can take a question, I may. If not, I'm finished.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I see Lionel Williams with DPD. Hello, sir. How are you this evening?
Hello, Ms. Jackson. Thanks for having us. I will be brief as well. I know it's a long agenda. We have safely reopened our schools by maintaining social distance in every building, providing and requiring masks for all staff and students, cleaning and sanitizing buildings daily. We know that parents are eager to see students return to the classroom. While putting students first, we're also providing teacher options and supports. All teachers have access to vaccinations, free COVID testings, PPE, and receive hazard pay upon return. We're committed to meeting the child's needs. DPSCD offers online learning centers for families needing in-person support, and face-to-face classroom where teachers have elected to return. We've also partnered up with the city of Detroit. So you could call 313-230-0505. We'll be doing vaccinations at Brenda Scott on Wednesday, April 14th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and at East English on Friday, April 16th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And also we will have free COVID testing at Detroit Denby on Friday, April 16th through Wayne State. And we also offer saliva swabs at Renaissance from Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a drive-through service for people that don't want the nose, the contact put up their nose. They could just get a saliva swab if they come to Renaissance Monday through Friday.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Awesome. I know the kids are probably glad to get back to school as well. Little did they know they would be happy to see school again.
They're super excited. We're
Yes.
just waiting to get back. We hopefully vaccinations go up, numbers go down.
Yes, that's the important part. Thank you so much for that information. I appreciate that. I see Sherry, Sherry Johnson. I see you. Hello, how are you this evening?
I'm wonderful, and yourself? Good
I
to
am
see everybody.
great.
That's good. That's good. Well, I want to say that I've gotten my vaccinations too and trying to stay as safe as possible. Of course, we're still kind of working from home, but we are taking care of complaints and any concerns that any of the constituents have. However, the commissioner is having a town hall, a virtual town hall, April the 15th at 6 p.m. concerning the tax foreclosures. So if you have anybody or know of anybody that's facing hardship and is having problem with property tax foreclosures, please share the link. I think I sent it to you earlier, but
Yes.
I'll resend it if you don't have it.
Yes, I do. I got it earlier today and I'll make sure I get it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Terry, I know we're going to be talking with you guys later on, but is there any updates you want to give us before we start?
Yes. First, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to say hello to everyone. Glad to see and hear from everyone. I just have two things I wanted to touch on. Mr. Williams from DPS, COVID vaccines. Also, the health department, they're working on a project right now to make it out to residents that are homebound. So you can call the health department directly. I'll put that telephone number in the chat. So they're working on that now. That should be coming out very soon for homebound citizens that can't make it out. Okay, next, Jada Filson from BC. She's a guest speaker. I don't want to take up too much time because I know there's a lot of questions and answers. But if anyone need to call our office for anything, also Motor City Makeover is coming up, so I need to get that to you, President Jackson, and I'll get that from Ernest Johnson and Kiana Sessoms, the exact dates for next month. Motor City Makeover.
Okay, I was wondering where we're going to have that because I hadn't heard
So write
anything
that up.
about it.
Yes, it's still going to happen. So I'll get all that information so you can email and text it out very soon.
Okay.
I'll get it to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I see anyone else. Do we have anybody? You know, I can't see this far, so you got to help me out. If I missed anyone, can you please raise your hand or make a gesture so that I can see and make sure that I acknowledge you, please? Okay, we have
President. President.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes, I see you, Mr. Williams.
Okay.
Yep, I got you covered. You were coming next because I want you
Okay.
to do what you do. So hold on 1 second for me, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. I see. Look like Mr. Martin is the last name.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings from the 36th District Court. I'm the new community relations specialist there, working alongside Chief Judge Bill McConicle. Just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that this district is so important to us. We were raised there. I see a lot of familiar faces on the screen. He sends his regards to you and the group. I'm to inform you that we're going to be a part of this on a monthly basis. We're going to set up newsletters to come out, and we're going to provide information to you from the court, directly from the court, and take questions back to the court and provide that the following meetings for you. We're trying to extend information to the general public that you might not be aware of that's going on in the court and report it to you directly. and answer any questions that you all might have. Just wanted to make a brief introduction and let you know that I will be a part, and the judge will join me at some times as well. But any questions that you have and concerns, I will be the one to take them back to the court and present it back to you the following meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that you are joining us. You will be a very good asset to this meeting as well to provide us with court information. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And tell Judge McConicle, thank you as well for, putting you on here, because that's great.
I will do that.
Okay, who am I missing? Okay, Washington.
Chief
Hello, Mr. Washington. How are you?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for allowing me to be on for a minute. My director of recruiting from Wayne County Sheriff's Office is on, and I just wanted to Keith Williams. And I just wanted
Keith Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, Keith. I apologize for that. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
No, hey, I'm with him. I'm with the sheriff.
So,
okay.
So thank you, Madam President, Ms. Jackson, for allowing me to speak to the community, 11th Precinct Community Relations Council meeting for just a few minutes. Wanted to introduce myself as a newly appointed. I got to quit saying newly appointed at some point because I'll be old at some point. But I was most recently appointed in January 15th to the Wayne County Sheriff's position, and happy to be here. I won't go through a whole litany of how we got here, but as you all know, the sheriff did pass away, and there was a process, and I was chosen to succeed him, and I'm happy about that, him being my mentor and friend and brother for over 38 years. And so I'm here as a sheriff, and just wanted to let you all know we're going to be doing things in the community. Our obligation is the county courts, county parks, and our county jails, but I come from an agency, Detroit Police Department, after 25 years, and being about the community. And it would be remiss of me if I didn't come into this position as a sheriff's office and not still be about the community. When we came in here in 2009, I worked very closely in the 11th Precinct with Commissioner Shirley Birch, who's my good friend and knows me very well, and did a lot of work in the community from the sheriff's office standpoint. And we had a program called Scout, Sheriff's Community Organized Urban Team. And we did a lot of work with our resources that we have into the community, just addressing quality of life issues. And, we're not in the communities all over Wayne County trying to take over any police department and trying to answer runs or call to service. Police departments are stretched for resources and personnel, especially. And oftentimes, municipal police departments, they're running from police run to police run. And sometimes we're missing those quality of life issues that need to be addressed. And I know the neighborhood police officers are doing those things. And we just want to come into the community and help wave the flag that the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is here. And we'll be addressing some of those issues along with the Detroit Police Department, so that we could let the community know that they're not alone, and it's not just those issues that are important to them are not being addressed, because we're going to be helping out. We're on the west side right now. We've been doing a lot of things in the Grandmont Rosedale community, going into the Barton McFarland community, Joy Road community, and we're going to be coming on the east side. And when we did those things, we put them on social media. People were calling from the east side saying, when are you all coming over here? When are you all, and we're coming. And I just wanted to get on and let you all know that look for us. If you have some issues that need to be addressed, it seems like they're not being addressed, from those quality of life type issues, we're here for you. I talk with Chief Craig, my friend, often, and we talk about what I'm going to be doing in the community, and he's all for that. He's asked me to even help him with the drag racing and the drifting and things like that are going on all over this city, seems like, and we have to address those issues. And we're helping him every other week. We're sending our resources, our manpower, undercover manpower, marked units every other week we're hitting those stops with him. So the sheriff's office is out here, and Raphael Washington is my name. My friends call me Ray, but I'm going to be out here earning your support, and going to be out here earning the support that I'm looking for from you as well, because we can't do this alone, and I'm just here to help and going to be a partner in the 11th precinct for sure. So Keith Williams is here to talk about he's one of my recruiters and one of our neighborhood community liaison people, and he's going to be out here helping as well, but he's doing recruiting, and I'll let him speak a little bit about that. But please know that we're here for you, Ms. Jackson, and the community. I see a lot of my friends from the Detroit Police Department, Commander Slappy and Captain Blackwell, and those, they're my friends. They know me, they know I'm about the community. So I'm here to help, and just wanted to introduce myself to you all, Ms. Jackson, and the community meeting.
Thank you so much for that. I'm glad you came on to speak with us this evening. I've heard a lot about you, so I'm glad to have finally met you.
Yes.
To meet you, I should say.
Mhm.
So thank you. And as Keith has my email address, he has a phone number. He can, if there's anything I can do to help you, I'm more than willing to, give out my time to help out. So please just reach out if you need me.
Yes.
And Keith Williams know how to get a hold to me. So
Yes, I do.
yes, so I'm here for you.
I appreciate it. We're looking to partner, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Chief,
thank you.
Chief, this is Connie. He's not coming to recruit our officers now, is he?
No,
So-
it's a,
So
it's
we're not going to recruit. We're not
a
going to
lot of
recruit.
jobs for both agents.
Hey, listen, right? Because I know you're short and we're short. I mean, I was so I spent 25 years in Detroit Police Department, near and dear to me. I was 2 years prior to that, starting in 85 with the sheriff's office from 83 to 85. And now I'm back since 2009. So I got love for all of us. And I'm going to be recruiting, but I'm only going to be recruiting the ones that we can catch that want to come into the sheriff's office, just as you all are going to recruit Detroit police officers. But we do take some officers that are retired from the Detroit Police Department. We will take them. But that's after they retire. After they retire, we got jobs for you. We got about 200 jobs.
Look, keep your
Ray,
keep
yes.
your phone on.
All right,
Keep
see,
your phone on.
come on over. We got room for you. Seriously, when you get finished chasing kids like I was doing for 25 years, you come on the custody side, where we just wave at them and make sure they're safe and secure, and we don't have to chase them. They already in there. So we have room for you. Please let us know. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Come November. Come November.
We'll be waiting. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Mr. Williams, the floor is yours.
No, I'm just, to back up what he said, my job is to go out and recruit and make sure we get, we replenish our ranks. I know DPD got issues too, but some folk want to be on the correctional side and the jailing side want someone to be police officer. So I just say you got to mix, but come with us, and you got a great man who's the new sheriff. And all we're looking for, a person 18 years old, high school diploma, valid driver license, GD, and no felony. And they're gonna start off with $40,000, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and health insurance. So we got a good package like DPD guy has too. But more importantly, with all this trouble we have you see what happened in Minnesota. I tell young brothers this: instead of fighting, come join, and we can change it within the inside. Because this America needs more Black law enforcement folks representing us. Okay, and so that's why I'm here. I work for a good man. And I see my friend, Commander Slappy over there. But at the end of the day, my number is 313-657-8962. And then also, I'm the community. I'm gonna be working with the community too on other issues that the sheriff talked about. So call me if you got some issues with other stuff that you don't want the citizens to know about. Just call me up, okay?
Okay, give us your number again, Mr. Williams.
657-8962.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Okay, I appreciate you too.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I do see, I'd like to introduce, and many of you may know him already, Mr. Alvin Stokes. He is our president over citywide community relations. Mr. Stokes, I just wanted to welcome you. Thank you for attending tonight. And is there any information you would like to provide to the community? Mr. Stokes, are you there with us? Okay, I'm gonna take it back.
He's on mute too.
Yeah, I'll come back to you, Mr. Stokes. He probably stepped away for a second. I'll come back, but I want you guys, and many of you may know him or may not, but I just like him to introduce himself. Have I missed anyone else? Because we're gonna go on to the next part of the agenda. Anyone else that I missed?
Nothing, Ken Lock.
Oh, Kim, hello, sir. How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. There you are up there. I'm sorry, I did not see your hand up there. My apologies.
No problem. Trust me, I definitely understand this Zoom stuff. So I really appreciate you for inviting me to this meeting. I want to let you all know that I'm going to continue to make myself available. And when I'm not at these meetings, you have Sherry Johnson, who is part of my staff, who will be present with you. And once again, I have shared my contact information inside of the chat. So feel free to call on me if you have any issues, not just dealing with county issues, but if you need me to lend support on matters of importance to the community. So thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Absolutely, and thank you. Appreciate you attending, because I know you're pretty busy as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, I think I got everybody else. And if I forgot you, I apologize in advance, but we are going to move on. Just to give you heads up, starting next week, April 19th, yard waste begins. So you'll be able to put your brown bags out. So mark it on your calendar, April 19th, you can begin your waste, which is your brown bags. Also on the Department of Public Works, which is DetroitMI.gov, this is where you can request a speed hump for your street. So please make note of that as well. I've been getting a couple of texts and emails and phone calls about it, but I try to provide the website, which is DetroitMI.gov, and that is where you can request your speed hump. Okay. Also, let's see. They're doing, let me see. Oh, AmeriCorps, I got this information in the mail, which I thought was pretty good. AmeriCorps is doing protect yourself with free home inspection items. And I'm gonna give you this phone number, and the items include deadbolt locks, carbon monoxide detectors, smoke alarms, door alarms, and light bulbs. The number you can, so you can set up an appointment, and this is coming from the courtesy of Wayne State AmeriCorps Urban Safety Program. The number is 313-444-9508. And this is where you can request a protect yourself with free home inspection safety items. Thought this was really good, and they're giving out really nice, items that people can use.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Robinson. My name's Jack. I'm actually a representative of the AmeriCorps program. I got an email from your program, and AmeriCorps wanted me to step in and sit on the meeting. So
awesome. Now, did I give out the right information? Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. If you had any questions, or if any of your residents here had any questions, you can certainly reach out to this number, and I could also offer my phone number if that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
All right. My number is 313-718-1286.
Awesome. Thank you. Is there any more information from AmeriCorps that you'd like to share with us?
Actually, yes. This does not pertain to the home VHSAs. This pertains actually to vaccines. If you have not gotten your vaccine yet, they're being offered for free at Ford Field. They're going to be having events that AmeriCorps is going to be part of tomorrow and Thursday. We were part of it prior to Easter, but then they no longer required us, but now they would like us to come back and help out as volunteers. And they are also accepting civilian volunteers to help with the effort as well, which you can find out about on Open County, or if you want, I can find out tomorrow and send you, Ms. Robinson, information about that if anyone else wanted to volunteer.
Okay, and I'm the president, Miss Jackson. I'm not Miss Robinson, I'm Miss Jackson.
Sorry about that, ma'am.
That's okay. Just want to make sure you didn't send it to the wrong person.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that information. Appreciate it. We have your number now in stone.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Point of order, Ms. President Jackson.
Yes.
Would just like to say those speed humps. I would like to give out my telephone number. I can send out a link. If you can apply for those speed humps directly from your cell phone.
Okay, so that would be great. You want to get out the number, or you're going to send me the link, and would you like me to send out the link? It's up to you.
I'll send you the link.
Sounds great, and I'll make sure that everybody gets it that I have their email address. I'll make sure that they get it.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? How about we do this? If you send it to Officer Robinson, we'll put it in the chat.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Stokes, I see that you're back. I just wanted the community to know who you are, just in case some people didn't know. He is our president of a citywide. So he's over all of the community relations in the city of Detroit. So I didn't know if there was any information you would like to provide to us this evening, Mr. Stokes.
No, thank you, Madam President. Thank you for your efforts. Commander Slappy, it's great to see you again. And thank you, the officers.
Sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, ma'am. Thank you so much. But Madam President, I just wanted to say hello to the 11th Precinct and ask you to continue with the good work. God bless you all.
Thank
you. Captain Blackwell, how are you, ma'am?
I'm great. Good to see you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, Madam President. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Commander Slappy, you want to do our police report this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I know you got a full agenda, so I'm gonna try to keep it very brief. Right now, the 11th Precinct, we have an uptick in our homicides and our non-fatal shootings, unfortunately. The majority of them have been acquaintance-based, meaning these people know each other. So we're closing a lot of these cases too. So I want to make sure that you have that information. We're actually down in year to date in our robberies, burglaries, and larcenies, which is great. I wanted to let you know a few things. One, normally I would try to do cop on the block, but I definitely had to suspend it because of COVID last year. And because we're having the uptick again now this year, I won't do it in person. However, I will extend that if they want to do it, maybe we can set it up via Zoom. So if any of the community block club presidents would like to have our cop on the block, they can set it up with their block. I'm more than willing, again, to do it via Zoom, so we can give them a little more one-on-one attention. As relates to some of the issues that Commissioner Birch addressed, I would really love for you all to go on your phones and really put in for those speed bumps, because that will assist us a whole lot we apologize for all of the speeding that is going on throughout your community, but unfortunately, it's a citywide problem. We do try to combat it as much as we can. Within the 11th precinct, we offer overtime for the officers to work for traffic details. We have a club detail, in addition to them, working their regular duty. So they are working a lot of the overtime, which is them taking a lot of time away from their families, to try to help us address the community issues. So we are doing what we can with that. And they do have a citywide drag racing detail that we have to, from each precinct, commit 2 officers to pretty much every weekend. So we're doing our best with that. As it relates to the drug houses, if you give us that information, sometimes if we can get the specific houses, we do try to put our special ops on those homes, and we reach out to our narcotics section to assist us at times. Unfortunately, what happens is sometimes as soon as we shut them down, they're like gremlins. You put water on and they come, you shut down 1 and 3 and 4 pop back up. So sometimes it's a little difficult for us to address each and every one that's in the 11th precinct, but please continue to forward us that specific addresses, and we can deal with them as best as possible. As it relates to the squatters, again, if you forward that information to the NPOs, when we get those, that's something they can go out and deal with immediately. So again, if you give us those addresses and things, we do everything we can to try to take care of those expeditiously. Let's see. I think that was pretty much all that I had, unless anyone has any specific questions for me, or if the Sergeant Spruce or any of the NPOs have anything they would like to push out.
Oh, we lost her.
No, all right, then I'll take any questions
I'm
if
good.
anyone has any.
Okay, any questions out there?
Yes, I have a question.
Probably Friday.
Okay. Is that Yolanda?
Yes, it is.
Okay, hey.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I would just like to say thank the commander and the captain for some assistance that I had made an inquiry about over here, and it was some businesses that I had been repeatedly complaining about that I believe that were marijuana grow houses, and they were sealed up this past week. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right.
Not a problem. I want to say we did 6811 East Davison, 6827 East Davison, 6770 East Davison, and 7103 East Davison. I believe those were the locations. They went out and the inspector and put placards on those locations as well. So, and that was the great work. I don't take credit for it because those were our NPOs. They did a fantastic job. So I applaud them. They did a great job with that, and I'm proud of them on that. That was huge.
Yes, it was. It was very, very huge.
And BC, a lot of times we forget because we don't do this by ourselves. So BC, they are a very, very, very big help to us and our special operations unit out of our precinct. So thank you for the, if anyone from BC or the city, we truly appreciate their assistance because they are definitely always there for number 11 when we call. They never tell us no.
Yeah, BC is the guest speaker.
Oh, okay. Well, they're excellent partner to number 11. We have an excellent partnership with them. Not only is it with this particular issue. We've was successful with their help with shutting down Truth Nightclub over the winter for about 45 days. We've attacked a lot of the clubs that was in our precinct where shootings and things was happening. So they have been an awesome partner with us. So thank you so much for BC if they're on.
Thank you so much. Any questions for the commander and or captain? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Commander, for that report. Right now, Mr. Catchings, we're gonna start with you. I'm not sure if Councilman is available yet, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with, have you introduce who's gonna be part of this conversation.
Okay. I want to make sure everyone can still hear me clearly and okay.
Yes, we can hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. First, okay, we're gonna guest speakers. We have BC. We have Jada Filson, but also the city of Detroit's law department. They are not able to participate due to a lot of litigation regarding medical marijuana in the city. So they're not able to do any public hearings or public community meetings. And that's the law department. So Jada, can you hear me, Jada?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I want to introduce you, Jada. You're okay. Well, you're on. Commander Slappy. She, I didn't know if you got a chance to acknowledge her. She wanted to thank you for all the work that you've been doing in a partnership with them, as far as the 11th Precinct.
Yes, I was able to hear her presentation. Thank you so much, Commander. Yes, we work very closely with the police department. Just to introduce myself, my name is Jada Filson. I'm the zoning manager for building and safety. I do handle the intake for marijuana applications. This is on the medical marijuana side. On the recreational side for licensing, that is business license. So as of right now, because of the lawsuits, we are not doing any business license or issuing any licenses for marijuana at this moment. But for the medical side of it, we do have a new ordinance that recently was passed by City Council. This introduces other medical or marijuana uses into the city. All these uses, except for there's a temp use for I believe it's for entertainment, but it's just for a temporary use for maybe a few days. If someone is coming into the city, that's just through business license. All the other uses require a special land use hearing. I'm the hearing officer for those. So when a person applies, they have to present us with site plans, floor plans, elevation plans, business plans, letting us know what they're going to do with the property. We need a lease or a deed. We need to know the entity that is involved in this marijuana facility, how many employees they will have. We review that information. And if they meet the site plan review standards of the Detroit zoning ordinance, we will schedule them for a hearing. And during that hearing, we invite other departments such as planning development, law is there, DPW, fire, if I already said city planning commission, it's a few other departments that may want to ask the applicant questions, and we just go over what could possibly happen at this marijuana facility, what they're doing. It's a public hearing. The links are on our website, the City of Detroit BC webpage. So if you all want to join, it's usually on Thursdays. If we have some schedule, it'll be up there in the date. After those hearings, we never make a decision at the hearing. we take everything under advisement, and then we give that information to the director, and he makes the final decision. That is just the gist of our department and what we have to do for our division. No one, with this new ordinance, you can't appeal it to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So if there is, say, maybe a church within 1,000 feet, that applicant cannot appeal it to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So if we deny the applicant, they do have that right to appeal it to the board, and the board can always overturn BC's decision. So that was just a quick, in a nutshell, of what BC does with the medical marijuana portion. Are there any questions that you all may have?
I do, Commander Slappy, if I can.
Yes, go right ahead.
Is there a cap, if you will, on about how many, at least I would say, per precinct? Because I'm sure for us, we probably have our fair share. So have they thought about a way to minimize so that we don't super saturate a precinct or super saturate the city with them?
They have not. That's why the spacing comes in. So there is a 1,000-foot spacing. You know, you can't be within 1,000 feet of school, a park, a youth activity center, a church, a liquor or beer and wine store. So that was the way of kind of controlling it. But no, they haven't done it per precinct or even per district. There are a lot in District 3. I have noticed that.
Is there a way, and maybe we can talk about it offline, but to just, minimize the number that we're getting? I mean, at some point, it would be nice to have a cap.
What is the distance of 1,000 feet compared to a mile?
Hold on 1 second. Commander, let me answer your question. I don't know. We probably have to talk offline and maybe with the law department, because I don't think we can just say where one can go if someone applies. I think that would be getting into some law, make it like discrimination, where people can go throughout the city. So that may be a conversation we may need to have offline.
Okay, my one last one. Do they have it where is it the 1,000 feet apply to, say, a medical marijuana dispensary and a regular dispensary? Does that apply to, is there a spacing?
So it is, the terminology in the ordinance is a provisioning center. So provisioning centers cannot be within 1,000 feet of each other. But when the ordinance was first introduced in 2016, the Board of Zoning Appeal had the right to waive spacing. So that's why you come across 8 Mile and you may see a provisioning center or dispensary within 1,000 feet of another one. And also, if people did not like the decision that the Board of Zoning Appeals made, they could always go to Third Circuit Court. In Third Circuit Court, the judge sometimes overturned those decisions. So that means that you have dispensaries or provisioning centers that are within 1,000 feet of each other.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I see there's a question up Joan.
Yes. Hi, thanks for taking my question. Is there a moratorium on processing and grow licenses as well? Or is it just the provisioning licenses?
All licenses, marijuana licenses are on hold right now because of what the judge said. He put a stop to everything. We cannot issue any licenses.
Okay. And it's my understanding that with the recreational use that city council is changing that to 750 feet, not 1,000 feet.
I am not sure about that yet. I believe there has been conversation, but until city council puts it in the ordinance, we don't really look at that spacing yet.
So I guess I just wanted everybody to be aware that that 1,000-foot spacing probably will not hold, and that there will be opportunities for more marijuana in District 3. That's it. Thank you.
I'm gonna go to Councilman. I see Councilman Scott Benson has joined us. Thank you for joining us this evening.
How is everybody and how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Fantastic. And so I'm just getting here and I just heard something about Detroit City Council, and I believe that was some bad information that was given. We're speculating on the future here. So let me be clear, and it's always an honor and a privilege to come before everybody. So I just really want to make sure that we're able to clarify and make sure that we're passing facts when it comes to this, because marijuana, as everybody knows, is a hot button topic right now, and everybody's really interested. And my colleagues have gone, Member Tate has gone the extra mile to make sure that we're changing how things are done. And so earlier this month, or late last month rather, we had a Zoom evening meeting regarding the new ordinance that was passed that modified the medical marijuana into an adult use marijuana. And right now, the distance requirements are the same as they were this time last year and the year before. There's a 1,000-foot separation between marijuana uses, retail, and controlled uses. That has not changed. There are people who want to change that, but it has not changed. And there are maps that have been created. They're not complete maps yet, but they do show if that distance requirement was reduced from 1,000 feet to 750, that it would open up more eligible properties in the 3rd district and in the 6th district and in the 1st and the 2nd, but the hit would primarily come in the 6th and the 3rd districts because of our high levels of industrial property. So right now, in order to change that distance requirement, that ordinance, which is a zoning ordinance, would have to go back to the Planning Commission for vetting, a recommendation, and then come back to City Council for another public hearing and then approval. So right now, we are not there yet. I know my colleagues one of my colleagues, Member Tate, is advocating for that. The support for the legacy marijuana community, but we're still doing some fact finding, and I have not indicated support or objection to that yet, but we're still doing fact finding there. So I just want to make sure that we put that out there, but I'm here to answer questions and listen. I'm just really glad to be here tonight.
All right, thank you so much. And I know that the commander, she spoke on this as well. Is there a limitation? I mean, I don't want to go around every corner and we have a marijuana, whatever it is, medical, recreational, I don't care what it is, it's just becoming too many. Where does the line get drawn where enough is enough?
Well, I'll go ahead and answer that. When we initially started this, I want to say about 4 years ago, I was the only council person who voted no. So that's where I wanted the line to be drawn then. Then the state and the city of Detroit both voted overwhelmingly to legalize marijuana. So at a certain point, I can't be the only one with a lance chasing after windmills. So Member Tate is working on an ordinance. We put something in writing, and I agree with you. I just think that what we've seen is the northeast side of Detroit. I mean, I think it's a disproportionate impact. But if you go talk to the 1st district, they'll say the same thing. If you go talk to the 2nd district, the same thing. But I think if you look at the numbers, I think that we do have a disproportionate impact. They also have high numbers along 8 Mile in those districts as well. But just the northern part of the city, I mean, we're seeing it a lot because we also are close to other municipalities. So we just have a greater draw and opportunities for people to make money. So just really trying to find the balance. And I'm not sure that reducing the distance would find more balance, but they're still still gathering information and looking at how this will impact people moving forward.
Okay. Thank you. I see Pastor Sterling. I see your hand is up. Good evening, sir. How are you? You have to take yourself off mute.
I'm fine. Thank you for acknowledging my hand. And my question is basically kind of piggybacking off of Ms. Jackson, what she was saying. And I think it was presented, I guess, in your writing of your proposal. The concern was, is there any way it could be a limit so that our precincts, police precincts, won't be overtaxed? Scott Benson's with the policing the area calls. I'm thinking that maybe, as the concern was, that you could consider overstretching them in terms of the work that they will have to monitor some of these facilities, especially if they get so numerous. Maybe it can be attacked from that angle.
So, Pastor Brewer, I agree with you. I'm going to ask Jada Filson, and Jada, I may be wrong here. I believe we're maxing out at 75 licenses. That's the goal.
Yes, that's correct.
So there is a max, and that max is 75.
In District 3?
So this is not. No. Dear Lord, no.
Woo. No. Okay, I just want to be clear.
Citywide. That would be. Well, you know what, Kim? Thank you for helping me clear that up. So no, it's not 75 per district. It will be 75 citywide. So, Pastor Brewer, there is a max, and for those who are concerned, there is a max. And that was set as part of the ordinance and licensing process. And so Ms. Filson is part of tracking and making sure we don't go over that number.
Okay. Woo, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. And I also
and
have
then real quick, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, Councilman. I can hold tight because I have a question that was in the chat and I just wanted to make sure it get answered.
So I know that there's a huge issue with what's going on over at Mound and 8 Mile. And I just want to make sure that was the conversation addressed regarding social justice and what this ordinance is trying to do as far as that, and why there's been such a sounds like no. Okay, so just real quick,
repeat that again.
One of the issues.
Say that again.
So social.
Councilman, you froze up a little bit. Can you repeat yourself?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if the conversation, if we've gotten to the part on this ordinance in marijuana regarding social justice and wanting to ensure that legacy Detroiters get a foot in the door here. And so now this is where the unique balancing act comes. And so you have a community that's been disproportionately negatively impacted by anti-drug laws. You now have an opportunity for people to get into the business and make money and create generational wealth. But typically Black people have been the victims of anti-drug laws and now won't be able to prosper based on marijuana being legalized. So that's part of this ordinance as well. And I don't want that to go unsaid here. So that's just one of the balancing acts. But you also have a situation where our community is also negatively impacted by the use of drugs and other illegal substances. So we also have to be very cognizant of that as well. So I just wanted to make sure that got said. That's part of the calculus that's going into the decision matrix around this ordinance, adult use marijuana, and the locations, and why people want 750-foot distance versus 1,000 feet. So I just want to make sure those items are out there as well.
Okay. And Councilman, I had, don't know if you had heard earlier, I had asked the question, because for number 11, and we are super saturated with either provisional, dispensary. There, I mean, you ride down 8 Mile and it's like marijuana heaven. So I was just wondering if at any point, if they could consider that putting a cap on how many are even allowed within a precinct boundary. Because I can tell you, and I will say as a commander, this is something that I'm sure all the commanders of the precincts could appreciate, is to say, you know, if you have, I mean, 10 or you got 15, you know, whatever that magic number would be within one precinct, that would help us tremendously, especially when they're trying to put them up so close together as well. I understand with 8 Mile being what it is, you know, it's a major thoroughfare, but just limiting at some point the number that each precinct has will help us tremendously.
So that's a very good point, and Commander Slappy, thank you for that. We hadn't heard your voice like that during this the debate that we had before we approved the last ordinance. That type of advocacy would be good to hear. And so if it came from yourself, that would be fantastic. And if you were able to get some of your colleagues who, like the 12th, the 9th, who border and have a saturation, if you all would come out and say, hey, you know what, these marijuana locations are causing us these problems. We see the spin-off crime. And I'm not sure if you are seeing it, but if you are, giving city council the opportunity to hear that and the planning commission the opportunity to hear that would be very helpful, because I hadn't heard that, or the suggestion that we look to max out per precinct, because earlier as well, I'm not sure if that was you, Pastor Brewer, that there's an extra burden placed upon our law enforcement officials, and that means that we need to take a look at that and put that into the calculus as well. But I hadn't heard that, so that's good information. And if you all put that in writing, that would be very helpful. And Commander Slappy, if you got that from some of your colleagues, that would be huge.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I was just echoing Commander Slappy's statement. You know, I didn't see her there, so I was trying to communicate, but that was exactly what Commander Slappy was saying in terms of the precinct being overtaxed.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, I was unmuted. Okay, I just got a question. Unmute. Okay.
Ms. Jackson, Commissioner Birch.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask the councilman regarding all of the marijuana, just like Commander Slappy said, whatever you want to call them. Do you remember, Mr. Councilman, at one time, one of those dispensaries actually called themselves District 3. We fought that because it gave the impression that District 3 was a marijuana capital. And then I want to say to you, are there any plans to make the District 3 into more of a marketing place for the community to rebuild? And I'm saying, like, why don't we build a Menards or Ace or Home Depot? Why can't we have quality businesses in District 3? Because you called it industrial. Why are we called industrial when there are plans, sir, that we could have homes, condos, Voltex centers, because we have all the property? Could you please answer that? I thank you. Commissioner Birch.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a whole lot in there to unpack. So earlier today, when I talked about industrial, I said that we have a large amount of industrial zoning, which is why if you see a reduction in the 1,000-foot separation to 750, you would see a heavy impact in District 6 and District 3. That's why I said that, because we do have a large amount of industrial, and District 6 and District 3 we do the heavy lifting in the city when it comes to industrial, and we pay our more than our fair share of property taxes back because of that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we have homes, we have homes now, we have condos now, and we have viable businesses in the 3rd district. I mean, we've got numerous job centers in the 3rd district, and more are coming, and they're largely around the industrial base. Now, what you're also going to see is that you can't force anyone to build anything anywhere. what you can do is provide them with the data and the information that this is a viable location in which to locate, and we'll hope that you'll locate here, and we'll provide you incentives and other information of why you should do that. Now, we can't force them. We've got a Home Depot over on 8 Mile and Myers. We've got one right across the street from Detroit on Kelly. So I'm not sure if they will put another Home Depot on the northeast side, but I would be very supportive of a big box retail that will want to come in and provide a quality service to our community. It's not as easy as what you think it is. It's very difficult, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes people with money who are willing to put it at risk. And if you know some developers or some tenants who are willing to come in and do that, I'd love to be part of that conversation. And I will introduce them to whoever we can in the city of Detroit to get them to come in and build. But we are seeing people develop in the city of Detroit, and we're seeing people create jobs as well. So,
and tell him, give him my phone number. He can call me, and I'll tell him who those people are.
All right, fantastic.
Okay, Councilman, I have a couple of questions that were in the chat. I'm gonna ask you one of them. Or Jada,
Yes,
one of
ma'am.
you guys I know could probably answer them. Are hookah lounges, are they legal or regulated? What are hookah lounges? I know what
Ms.
they
Filson.
are, but are they legal or are they regulated?
Ms.
They
Filson.
are neither Yes, they are neither regulated. Hookah lounges are by right uses. They fall under retail. Even though you can smoke in the hookah lounge, they're also selling the tobacco. So we would permit them as by right uses, but they would have to get a business license for selling the tobacco, and they would also get a permit from the state of Michigan too, before we would even permit them.
Okay, so then they're gonna have to be licensed and get permission from, is it from the council to be open? Because I'm seeing quite a bit of those that are opening up now. So you look at every corner and here's a hookah lounge opening up.
Right, not the council, but they would have to have a state license. They would have to have a city permit and also a business license from the city.
Okay. Now, what is the difference with them selling those hookah pipes in the gas stations? Now, what is that?
That would just fall under retail.
So then they're able to do it?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Then I have another question.
Real quick, Kim, real quick. Can I just ask this question? 10 years ago, hookahs probably would have been considered drug paraphernalia.
Right.
And I'm not sure that was legal, which I think is probably what the concern is now, that what was illegal 10 years ago may now be legal because it's predominantly changed the use. People do smoke tobacco out of hookah pipes. And they also put marijuana in there as well. But now that marijuana is legal, I'm not sure if drug paraphernalia is illegal anymore. Ms. Filson, can you fill us in on that part?
I don't think I can address the part about the paraphernalia. I just know that the state, we were following pretty much the state and their guidance with that. And they issued the permit already to the hookah lounges. So we were following their guidance and issuing it, making it a by right use in our ordinance for that. But now that you say that about the marijuana, they can, but I mean, you can use any paraphernalia to smoke really anything. So I don't know if we would just justify that hookah pipe with doing something illicit. So
yeah, because it's kind of bad when you go into a gas station and you know your kids in there, they're buying candy, whatever, and here you got this big hookah pipe sitting in the window. I mean, we got to give with some of this stuff. So, I mean, something has to give somewhere. We can't keep like, okay, you give you an inch, you're going to take a mile. Where does this stop? Where do we draw the line on which you're going to display in those windows? Kids do not need to see those hookah pipes, just like they don't need to see those knives in the window.
And in the coolers too.
You know, they have stuff in coolers. You know, they have red cups in the cooler. What's in that red cup in the cooler? Where does this stuff stop? And who enforces this?
I believe we could enforce it, or even business license could enforce it, because the cigarette sales, the license is given by business license, and they're the ones that go out at night when most of these activities are taking place. So if you could email myself or Kevin Jones, he's the manager of business license, and he can have one of his, one of his investigators go out to investigate.
Point of order. Point of order, President Kim.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to say, yes, business license, yes, and it's gonna take. We've done a party store like that at 7 Mile and Conant a few years ago with Orland Jones over in Coney Gardens.
Okay.
Because they had M16 machine guns. They were toys displayed in the window, and we just had to go up there and talk to the owners about it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Yeah, and it's sad to say, but it's too many party stores that's fallen into this category. And I know there's not enough officers, and I can't say officer they can't do everything, and I don't expect them to. But these owners need to take responsibility of what's going on in their stores.
Yeah, so the community, we have to take a stand on it. You're right.
Okay, Jada, can you make sure you place your email address in the chat, please?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Councilman, I see your hand up.
So Kim, real quick, so when you talk about the community and you talk about norms and mores, so even though it may not be illegal, if that's not what you want in the community, let's have that conversation with the property owner, just like Terry said. So 2 summers ago, we probably did 3 pickets with Black Family Development and a number of community groups who wanted green light locations at gas stations in their neighborhoods. And all of those gas stations became green light locations as a direct result of that community activism. And so and I'm more than happy to do something like that. If this is not with the norms and mores of our community, let's change it. Let's tell them we don't want this. We don't want these water pipes here being displayed. You're now asking our children to get engaged in tobacco. We don't want these toy guns being romanticized. You're just suggesting that our children go out and get weapons. We don't want that in our community. And the people will listen. They do not want to have people with picket signs out in front of their store running their customers away or bringing the news trucks there saying that what they're doing. So I think, but it also takes that if it's not illegal, then we need to let them know this is not in keeping with what the community wants. And I'm more than happy to support you on that. And we can also look to change laws. And so if hookah lounges are by right, you can also make those a conditional use, or you can restrict the zoning districts in which they can be located. I mean, we'd have to get the planning commission and city council to support that, but you can also change the laws to ensure that things do comply with the norms and mores of your community. If you don't want a hookah lounge in a B1 or a neighborhood zone, you want only an industrial, or you want it in heavy retail, then let's make that change then. Let's look to make that change. Because Jada, Ms. Filson, she can enforce what the laws say. She can't make up and enforce what's not there. But we can decide what's on the books.
Okay. And I will be reaching out to you, because we need to have some conversations with these store owners so they understand when they go back out to the suburbs, they're going back out and they don't deal with this, but we still have to deal with this here in the city. And we need to make sure that they're clear on their jobs.
Ms. Jackson,
Agreed.
I'll
Agreed.
support you on that.
Thank you.
If you reach out to me, I'll be whatever resources that I have to make it happen. I'm willing to work with the community.
Okay, thank you so much, Pastor, and I will be reaching out to you as well.
And I think from a state point of view, I will work with all of you, because this is going to be a city issue as well as a state of Michigan issue.
Yes.
And then, so we'll all work together. But I'm with you. I'm with you. And we need to set good standards and good examples and role models for our children, for them to grow up into good citizens, and this is not helping.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
Kim.
Mhm.
Kim,
Who is that, Yolanda?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Okay, I have a question for, I guess that's the attorney about the marijuana. Was there, when those licenses were passed, did they take into consideration residential? How far they could be from a resident? The grow houses or the dispensary?
Well, I'm not an attorney, but no, what's on the books right now in the zoning ordinance, no, it does not have spacing regulations or distances from residential neighborhoods. But we do put up provisions that are in the ordinance about residential screening and right-of-way screening to try to protect the residential dwellings.
Okay, so how can the residents find out what their right of way is as opposed to the licensing of these different dispensaries or for them to grow?
Well,
I mean, you're right. Okay, and the reason why I say that, because I am in what they say a residential business. I live on one street and the businesses, we share the same alley. So I have some concerns with that. And that's why I'm asking the question.
So because you share an alley, so usually with, let's take 8 Mile, for instance, because 8 Mile may be B4, there's an alley that separates the residential, which would be R1. So we would, before that establishment is approved, they have to provide us with a site plan. And on that site plan, to protect the neighborhood or the dwellings, the existing dwellings that are there, we have them put on the site plan that they're going to build a wall, or they're going to put in shrubs. We try to make sure if it's a grow or any kind of other marijuana facility, what their mechanical system is looking like and how would the fumes be treated in that facility. So there are some aspects that we look at before we approve anything, but there's no spacing that would hinder a facility from going directly against or being separated from an alley, from a residential neighborhood.
Okay, I see Mr. Stokes has his hand up as well, so I'm gonna try to grab the hands that are up. So Mr. Stokes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I understand there's issues with business owners. Let's do this, Madam President, and I'll be willing to work too. Let's get these store owners to the table. Let's set up a committee or a council or whatever we want to set up and bring these owners to the table and let them know what we expect of them as far as us supporting their business. Now, we had this once before in Bowie. Now, we can look at bringing that program back with the business and the young folks. So whatever we have to do to bring that program back, let's do it and get the business owners to the table.
Yeah, well, it sounds good to me. I'm willing to do that as well. I see Herring. I see your hand is up.
Madam President, this is Commander. The captain and I need to sign off.
Okay.
Is it okay if we'd like to see if anyone have any last minute questions from us? If not, then we're going to sign off for the evening.
Okay, do we have any questions out there for the commander or the captain before they have to leave?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Who is that speaking?
Iris Lamel.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Not a question, just a statement for Commander Slappy to let her know that I appreciate Officer Hill and Officer Spruce for the work that they have been doing on Klinger Street. They even submitted a letter to the residents about the gun locks and the trash containers that were left on the street. And I appreciate the work that they have been doing, helping us out over here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that compliment. Appreciate it. I know they're glad to hear that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. And great job to the NPOs. They are the best.
Yep, that they are.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thumbs up all
Well,
around.
Good night, community. Thank you,
Have a good night.
Councilman.
Good night.
You
Have
too.
a good
I'll
night,
talk to you
Commander.
soon.
Have a good night, Captain.
Good night.
You too,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Good evening, all.
Bye-bye. Okay, I see hearings. We're gonna go back to you. I see you have a hand up as well. I still see the hand up. Okay, so we don't have that one, but I see Joanne Williams. I see you have a hand up.
Yes, I belong to City Airport Renaissance Association, and we went down to City Council and won a case where we said we didn't want the marijuana grow plant in our area. We won that case. The next thing we know, they changed the zoning so they could do exactly what they wanted to do. And I don't think that was fair. We've got so many locations down Grinnell that are industrial. So they're going to put in what they want to do anyway. I don't think that was fair. Is there any reason that if the citizens go and complain and win their case, why would they do something like that?
Councilman, are you there? It looked like he may have stepped away for a moment. Oh, there you go.
Nope,
Okay.
I am here.
Okay, there you go.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And so, Miss Williams, thank you for that feedback. So Grinnell has always been, to my knowledge, heavy industrial in that area. So I had to take a look at the history, and I remember, and it wasn't City Council where you went to get it stopped. It was the Board of Zoning Appeals where that case was taken, and the community can override. They actually changed the law as a direct result of that, saying who has standing to stop from coming in. And I remember that and had a lot of fights with the law department on that language and why they made that interpretation. But I had to find out more information about what you're saying about being able to put them in. And I know that there are some grow locations there now, but I don't think there's any retail along Grinnell, unless I'm mistaken. But I want to have that conversation with you and get some history so we can put some context around that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have another question, and this is another one that's been brought up a couple of times. What is being done, if anything, to assist our officers with enforcing the marijuana crimes? And I say that, are there any judges or prosecutors that are taking on these hearing cases? Because our officers are feeling helpless in this area. What can we do to make sure that if they write tickets or if they do some type of enforcement, somebody's hearing something?
Ken, what do you mean by that one? If you could just unpack that one a little bit more for us.
Well, the officers are going out, saying they're writing tickets, or maybe they may be doing something else, okay? But they're enforcing the marijuana law. But from my understanding, they have some prosecutors and judges, they're taking on, are they hearing these cases? What are they doing about them? Are they just kind of sitting them to the side? Okay, these are just marijuana, okay, whatever. And then our officers don't want to write tickets or do any enforcement if they're not having anybody to have their back.
So that's a very good point. And this is also why it is so important that we invite the county prosecutor and the judges from the 36th District Court. They can give you a better response when it comes to that. So once it leaves the officers, and it gets to the court, then the judges are the ones who decide on that in that process. So that's out of the legislative or the executive branch's hands, and now it's into the legislative body's hands. And so that's why it would also be good to have this type of forum with our judges to ask them these questions as well.
Okay, and I'm gonna try to see, because I think, is Mr. Martin still on the phone down from with 36th District Community Relations?
Yes, I am.
Okay, is this something that we can try to set up and work on, getting some judges to kind of helping us out in this area?
Absolutely.
Okay, I would like to set something up or work with you, or I can email you, but let's try to set up something so we can make sure that not just our officers, but any of these officers that's trying to enforce and do their job, that they're being heard and they're not feeling helpless in this area.
Point duly noted.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Madam Chair, I apologize. I don't know if y'all have a community prosecutor that's assigned to the 11th Precinct. I know there is one for 10. So let me check into that, because there's a prosecutor assigned to every precinct, and they should be at your meetings. So let me look more into it, and I'll get back with you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Alvin. Thank you so much, President Stokes.
We did have one. I don't know if he's still there. Kim.
Oh, and who was that?
I can't remember
You
his
remember?
name.
Okay.
I know what he, yeah, but I know what he looked like, and he was our prosecutor. And I don't know whether he's gone somewhere else or not, but we can check into it, and because I know a lot of times they reassign.
Okay.
But at one time, we did have one.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe D-Rod or Spruce may know.
Okay. Well, okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Yolanda, for that. Do we have any more questions regarding the marijuana buildings and the places that along 8 Mile and 8 Mile and Mound area? Are there any more questions we want to bring up while we have Councilman and while we have the young lady Jada, while she's here with buildings and safety? Is there some other questions we would like to bring up? If you can, please raise your hand or make a motion so that I know that you have a question. We have, Miss Bosch, how are you?
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I had put a question to Councilman Benson in the chat.
Okay.
It said, Councilman Benson, please comment on how an approved grow operation and 2 dispensaries are going to blend at the Bel Air Shopping Center. Also, please comment in general on the future status of the Bel Air Shopping Center. Councilman Benson replied, blend, ? And I said, okay, instead of blend, how about exist, given the fact that they were previously approved before Crown Development purchased the Bel Air. So Councilman Benson, could you help us out and give us a status report?
I see he might have stepped away because I see he's not there.
Good timing.
Right. Okay, well, you know what? As soon as he pops back in, we're gonna put that question back out to him. Pat, we'll make sure that he gets it, because I still see his little, he's not there anymore. He has his District 3 symbol. So as soon as he pops back in, I'm gonna pull you back in, okay?
One other question related to that is also in the chat, when we were talking about community enforcement or helping police officers enforce the laws.
Yeah.
Then to me, if I understand the budget process correctly, City Council can earmark funds specifically in the budget, and that process is still going on right now.
Oh.
But Councilman Benson can answer that if he would be so kind as well.
Okay, okay. I know he'll probably jump back on. He probably had to get off for a second, but as soon as he comes back, we will put those questions out to him, Pat. So thank you for that. So just be ready, because I might holler your name at any moment as soon as I see him.
Thank you for recognizing me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do we have any other questions out there? Let me see, do I see any more hands? While we have Jada on the phone from Buildings and Safety, is there any other questions we would like to propose to her? Well,
Okay, I would like to, oh, I'm sorry, Kim. Kim, we had, okay, you say she's from Building and Safety.
Correct.
Okay, well then can we have someone maybe again along with her from the zoning department so that we can find out what the real rules and regulations are with this zoning?
I would believe we could. If Jada is willing to come back, we can try to do something for next month, but I will reach out to her and find out, you know, what's her availability, and then we can go from there.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, and maybe you can, I can reach out to someone from zoning to see if they're able to attend as well, or maybe you can. Just let me know how you want to do it, and I'm more than willing to help out wherever I can, so we can get you two back on together if possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Point of order, President Kim Jackson.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to contact Councilman Benson now. You know, he still has a newborn baby, a 1-year-old baby. So I know he had to step away for a minute.
Okay. And that's fine. And I figured he had to step away for a second. We get it, but I want to make sure Pat questions answered before we leave here tonight.
He should be. We're trying to give him a couple of minutes. He should be on in a couple of minutes.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
I do have a question, and I think maybe Jada can answer this one. And I had a question: is how is that applicants who build structures without pulling permits and following rules get so much favor instead of being disqualified? I've heard that a lot, where people are getting permits pulled and they're not following the rules and they're not getting disciplined about it. Is there anyone that's following up, or is there anyone that's looking into this, or can give us some more information on how that's being done?
Well, usually when we get a complaint, we send out property maintenance, our enforcement division. So they issue tickets. Those tickets can eventually turn into misdemeanors. Okay. So we try to get, I mean, we only have so much staff, and then our inspectors only work from 8 to 4:30. So some activity is happening at night. But we try to issue violations for anyone that we find out that is working without the benefit of a permit.
Okay.
This could reflect negatively if they come to us for a hearing, and our inspectors, we have staff reports during our hearings, and so the inspector will let me know that they have been working without a permit. So this all goes to the director before he makes a decision.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
I have a question.
Yes, Yolanda.
Yes. Okay, you said that the inspectors come out when they find out that people are working illegally, and then they get a ticket or whatever. Why are they still allowed to apply for the permit when they've already illegally done what they've done? And I'm saying that because I am in the middle of a situation right now because that happened. Okay. And I've been fighting this ever since November, and nothing has been resolved as of yet. So I done had all of the entities, all of the building and safety, the environmental, water and sewage, DPW. I got the works, and we still working. Okay, so what is the time frame that they are allowed to not comply with whatever it is?
I believe that they give them a time period. So it depends on whoever issued the ticket or the violation, what time period they give them. That inspector usually goes back out to check on the premises to see if they have been making any substantial improvements or moving forward with the permit process. So it really just depends.
Because I got a serious issue right now.
Okay.
And it's to me, it took them less than a week to do the damages, and now we almost 6 months and nothing has been rectified. And yes, I have all the names, all the numbers, all the supervisors, all of the people with the big pens, and I have not got any results as of yet. I just wanted to know, what is the time frame? Okay, because when they came out and issued me a ticket, I had 10 days to make good of it when to come in compliance. Okay,
Was that a
because
residential
it's a
property?
business.
Was that a residential property that you had to come into compliance?
Yes, it was a residential property that had to come into compliance, but this is a business place. They got the big money. I got little money. They got big money, and they still ain't came into compliance.
Right. With residential, usually it's the life safety issues because someone is living there, and so they want them to repair anything that could be hazardous in a timely manner. So they do put a shorter time window on residential property.
This situation is hazardous. Okay, I'm not going to go into the specifics, but this situation is very hazardous. Okay, and it has something to do with the quality of life issues, and the city has not handled their part of it. I'm just curious, why is it because the business people get an opportunity to expand time and the residentials don't? If it's a 30-day window, for me, it should be a 30-day window for them.
Right.
And then if they do something illegal, they should not be allowed to apply for licensing after the fact.
If you can email me, I can look into that for you.
Okay,
Ms.
I'm not good at the computer.
Write down her.
Ms. Filson
Yes.
and Ms. McCants.
I'm listening.
So, Ms. McCants, yes,
I'm listening.
and so I had a conversation with David Bell, who's the director of BC, yesterday, after you and I had our conversation. And so we, myself, DPW, BC, we've been working on. You have seen progress that they have been stopped from doing any work on that site. They are associated with illegal grow houses. And so there are many plates spinning. And because you haven't gotten to the resolution yet, doesn't mean things aren't happening. There's a lot to unpack here, and we're working on it. And we are working with you as well. And so there's a lot, and it's still going on. It's just it didn't happen overnight, and it won't get resolved overnight, but many things are happening. So we are working on this, and we are very familiar at many levels about this issue.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, Councilman, we have Pat Bosch. She had a question in the chat, and I wanted to make sure her questions get answered. So we're going to take her off of mute, and she's going to ask her questions to you, if that's okay.
That is fantastic. I want to answer all the questions people have, and I'm here until you're here.
Good. Okay, Ms. Bosch, it's all up to you now.
Okay, as stated in the chat, I asked if Councilman Benson would comment on how an approved grow operation and 2 dispensaries are going to blend at the Bel Air Shopping Center. And also, in general, please comment on the future status of the Bel Air Shopping Center.
Okay, how a grow operation and 2 dispensaries Not sure if there is a grow operation there. I knew that there were dispensaries there, but I also knew they were being moved out. So I'm not sure the status of any marijuana locations at the Bel Air Shopping Center.
It was approved as a grow operation in the former CVS building. Community opposed it, but the Board of Zoning Appeals did grant it. And the last I heard, they were legal and they were going to open there. And as you know, the community at the community meetings that were held at the Bel Air Theater opted for something that was not industrial at this site. And the community has numerous ideas of what could work there. But we are still stumped as to what the status of the Bel Air is, since Crown Development has already torn down half the stores that were in the Bel Air Shopping Center. And could you tell us as to which company did the actual demolition of those buildings at the Bel Air? If you could track that for us, I would appreciate it.
Okay, may I have a
All
point
right,
of order?
fantastic. If you would, go ahead, Mr. Catchings.
May I have a point of order, please?
Yes, Terry, you can step in.
Okay, I just wanted to ask Ms. Pat Bosch. Now, are you referring to a dispensary that's not operating at the moment that you support at the corner of 8 Mile and Van Dyke?
No, sir, that is not anything related to the Bel Air Shopping Center.
Okay.
And when you say we support it, we testified at a Board of Zoning Appeals hearing whereby the owner of that dispensary actually bought out a liquor and beer and wine license.
Correct.
So he did not add to any uses that were going to hurt the community. It was kind of a wash. And if you notice, the dispensary you're talking about at 8 Mile and Van Dyke has improved the facade of the building far better than the party store ever did. But to my knowledge, he is still not opened.
Right.
It
Now,
has nothing to do with the Bel Air Shopping Center.
this is a dispensary that you support, right? Correct?
I wouldn't go so far as to say we supported it. We went to the Board of Zoning Appeals and we said, as long as that owner of the marijuana dispensary was buying out the liquor store and eliminating it from the 8 Mile thoroughfare, then we would have no problem, as long as the owner agreed to work with the community at improving the community in terms of job hiring, in terms of clean, safe, and beautiful. And we submitted a document to that owner, which he has yet to sign. So as far as we are concerned, no major agreement was signed. And therefore, I don't think it's accurate of you to say that we support it when there is nothing in writing that is a good faith agreement between that owner and the community. From far as the community is concerned, we have been used by the owner on the pretext that he was closing a beer and wine and liquor store and was going to improve the community. But he has not kept his word, which has been verbal, nothing in writing. And that's where we stand. But he has nothing to do with the Bel Air Shopping Center.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
But thank you for clarifying that for me, because I'm sure other people are wondering why the community in general supported a marijuana dispensary at 8 Mile and Van Dyke. That was not the clear-cut situation. What was clear-cut is that that liquor and party store was a blight on the landscape. And according to the site plan reviews, the facade of that marijuana dispensary were a far greater improvement, especially if the owner promised to work with the community toward cleanup, jobs, education, and beautification. Now that's all verbal, and we are going to try to hold that man to his word if and when he opens. Everything was situated on him opening, and so far that has not happened.
Okay, just want to make sure all the community is involved. That's okay. Thank you.
We did have community meetings and they were open community meetings.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Benson.
I'm not quite sure if I've answered the questions. So going back to what I'm seeing in the chat, it was going to blend. And so I'm not familiar with any approvals at Bel Air Shopping Center for marijuana uses beyond what was there in the past. And I think those buildings have been torn down. So I'm not familiar with any marijuana at that location.
The marijuana was approved for the CVS store, which is still there. There's Foreman Mills.
I'm not sure if
Then
any
there was
CVS
the
store. Where's the
Romeo and
CVS store?
Juliet, which has since been removed from the site. Then was the Bounce House, and then was the CVS. And that's where the grow operation was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. In fact, George Etheridge testified in support of that grow operation.
When did that happen?
When that hearing took place in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals in about 2020. 2019. I have to go back in my records to get you an exact date.
2019. So there were marijuana locations there until those buildings were torn down recently. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but I'm not familiar with any marijuana locations being there any longer.
Yes, they
So
are.
I can't speak to that. What I will do is I will try to take a look about any approved uses. But I'm not familiar with any marijuana locations being there any longer. If I'm not mistaken, those leases in the conversations that we had at Bel Air, those Miss Bosch, I didn't interrupt you, so please don't interrupt me. Let me finish, please. At those Bel Air meetings, if I'm not mistaken, those leases were going to expire and they were not going to be renewed. And I know a number of leases were expiring and were not going to be renewed. Now I could be wrong, but I'll get more information and facts. Ms. Filson, are you familiar with any approved marijuana uses at that location?
There are some approved marijuana uses at that location. But the last thing I did hear was that there was new ownership and the new owners were thinking about not renewing the leases, but I'm not sure if they're still there or not, like you said.
Yeah. So we can take a look. More than happy to take a look. And so the next question was about the future of the Bel Air Shopping Center. And unfortunately, and I wish that I did have one, I do not have a crystal ball. And I know what I do want to see is something that supports the community needs and the community wants.
Well, for once, we're in agreement, Councilman Benson, about the Bel Air Shopping Center, because the community knows what it needs and wants, but it knows at the same time what it does not want, and that's a logistics center. But there is a rumor that I'm hoping you can either support or squelch or straighten out. There is a rumor circulating right now that the Bel Air Shopping Center has been purchased by General Motors. Is that any truth or fiction?
Not that I know of, and I'm not the owner, so that's probably a better question for the owner, and that hasn't come across my table.
Well,
and you know what they say about rumors?
There's a grain of truth to every rumor.
Is that what they say about rumors?
That's what they say. But the record will show, Councilman Benson, that the community is united in having a bona fide, wonderful, productive use of that acre site, 40-acre site. And it does not involve industrialization to bring us more pollution or any type of uses that would be contrary to the public interest. And we're here to work with you in that regard. And we have a brainstorming session that I'll identify ideas that we think are very viable, including a state-of-the-art recreational and mental health facility with the name of Crown Development on it, or Mayor Mike Duggan, if whichever one of them wants to put their name up there. And it would be a great anchor for the community because it would replace the swimming pools that were lost at Lipke Park. It would replace the 12 acres of Lodge Playfield, which were lost. It would also replace any of the shopping that we lost at the Bel Air Shopping Center. And it would bring a holistic benefit to the entire district.
Point of order. Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, Ms. Birch, Commissioner Birch.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to, like Mr. Ketchum has the opportunity, I just wanted to support what Ms. Bosch is saying to councilmen, that the community does not want an industrial site there. We shared with Mr. Benson and everybody else what the community wants, Ms. Jackson, and that is a mental health facility in honor of Mr. Maroon, if that's what he would like, or in Mr. Mayor Duggan's name. There are things in District 3 that we need, not more industrial factories, Mr. Councilman. So we're just trying to ask you to help support what the people want. It's time out that we're having more politics, sir, than we're saying a point of what, and as far as saying this industrial, there's so much property. And when I said Home Depot, I meant to say just Ace. I know there's enough Home Depots. I'm speaking of a Menard. I'm speaking of a Home Supply. You know, the supply stores that we have to go out of the city to go somewhere to buy ordinary things that everybody else can go and purchase, Mr. Benson. So that's why we're trying to speak to you, sir, to help us on the level you can help. Help the Bel Air, help the vision that we have behind the Holland Park Reservoir. If you would support that, that would be a good thing as a councilman, sir. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Well, as you know,
everybody here.
well, thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you for that feedback. And as you know, the projects that I support typically happen. So I want to make sure that whatever happens at the Bel Air Shopping Center is supported and is in keeping with the norms and mores of our community and support us. And as you also know, I don't own the Bel Air Shopping Center. So all the ideas that you have, you should also pass on to the owners and let them know that the community is supportive of those type of uses at that location as well. But it's really looking forward to what we're going to be able to do there. And hopefully it's going to be something that the community
That's right.
supports
So if you
and
don't
can
have
make
any
happen.
connect to the Maroons, excuse me, if you do not have any connect, that's a good thing. But I thought you had a connection with the Maroon family. So if you do not, you wouldn't be able to assist us on that level. But
Oh, I know who they are, and we've worked together on other deals in the 3rd District as well that have been successful. So,
Okay. May I have a point of order?
Yes, you can. Go, Mr. Ketching.
Thank you. Okay. So I understand from Commissioner Birch and Pat Bosch. So it sounds like you both are saying the community do not want uses at the Maroons property, but you do support a dispensary at the corner right next door to their property. And even though they haven't signed a letter of intent, and which I do support the community, and whatever the community support and the councilman supports, we support you. But I just want to be clear. It sounds like you're saying you still support a dispensary being right next door, not on their property, but just right next door.
Take yourself off of mute, Pat.
Okay, there I am.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for allowing me to respond to Mr. Ketchings. In terms of the geography, Mr. Ketchings, the dispensary at 8 Mile and Van Dyke is at least several blocks away from the Bel Air Shopping Center. It is not next door. They are two entirely different locations, which really, I mean, outside of an 8 Mile address, they have no bearing on each other. But, you know, you've been to enough city council meetings to what was stated earlier at the beginning of this meeting. People are concerned about the proliferation of marijuana on 8 Mile Road, and other people from Green Acres community have asked that 8 Mile be an overlay district to limit the number of marijuana dispensaries. For you to bring up the dispensary at 8 Mile and Van Dyke and hold that up as an example that our community is supporting marijuana is entirely erroneous. And if you want to really go back to the record, I invite you to a hearing that took place before the 8 Mile Van Dyke location. The specific address is 20245 Van Dyke. It is called Helping Hands. Bishop Tony Russell went on record and supported that Helping Hands marijuana clinic. So please don't go pointing fingers at the groups I represent or the communities that I represent simply because we saw an opportunity to get rid of an ugly, blighted party store based on the fact that the site plans for the marijuana dispensary were a great improvement for that location.
Oh, okay, I agree with you, Miss Pat. But I just wanted to make sure I'm clear when you say the community. When you say the community, does all the community members support what you're supporting? That's what, when you say community, because you have a lot of different community people that live in that area.
You're absolutely right. And the record will show, and I believe Ms. Pilson was at the building and safety engineering level hearings. And then I don't believe, maybe she was at the BZA hearing, but for the record, the residents that live on Branford and Terrell came out in good numbers to support the dispensary, the marijuana dispensary at 8 Mile and Van Dyke. Okay. So I was representing the nonprofit organization that I represent on a daily basis called the Northtown Community Development Corporation. And we had met with the Brian Yono, the applicant of the medical marijuana dispensary, in private with with his attorney and the representatives from the Northeast Detroit Business Association, the We Care About Van Dyke 7 Mile group, and some residents from the East Outer Drive Block Club Association. So I think we had a good cross section of people. Now, that proves by itself, the record will show that when I say community, I'm speaking of those instances that were recorded at public hearings.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Pat, I'm gonna hold on for 1 second if you don't mind. I want to grab Joan. I see her hand has been up just for a moment, and I'll let her chime in and see what she has, her input. Joan, you can take yourself off of mute.
I think Mr. Brewer was before me. I don't want to jump in line.
Oh, I saw another, oh, there's another hand up?
Unless I've missed it. All right, I'll just go. I just want to chime in and say sort of the way that this conversation is going is a little disingenuous. We had meetings about the Bel Air shopping center at the Bel Air Theater where over 200 community members attended, and overwhelmingly 100% voted to keep it a retail space. We're talking about a space that was a community center that has been disused both by city planning and by offshore management. And the community is now being punished by taking that and turning that into industrial space that impacts the life of the community. So that is the community that we're talking about, the people that actually showed up to give their support to keep the center a community space, not an industrial space.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Because I've heard quite a few, and I've gotten phone calls and emails regarding that. And I have never heard of going to an industrial anything. So
right. So literally 200 people came to that meeting. The theater was filled to the brim, and literally 100% voted to keep it a community space. What that community space looks like, we'll have to determine, but definitely not an industrial hub or trucking center.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Appreciate that. And I see Pastor Brewer, your hand is up, sir. Would you like to take yourself off of mute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is in working with Pat Bosch and also addressing Terry Ketching. It was the whole process, even as I'm representing the church, is that that horse has left the barn in terms of marijuana being used inside of our city. It's not that we as the community or the church is in favor for it, but what is happening is that these marijuana facilities are moving into our community and they're making money, but they're not reinvesting inside of the community. Exactly. It's not that we agree. It's not that we agree for a marijuana facility. What we're saying, if you're going to do business inside of the community, is that you're going to have to begin, and I'm not talking about walking down the alleys and help cutting down trees and those type of things. We're talking about actually investing and helping the community redevelop with brick and mortar. We also have vision in terms of building new housing in the community, and that we want these facilities to help us in trying to redo communities, put solar panels on side of people's homes. They're inside of District 3. And we're not for these industrial trucking. We have high schools in our area. And it seems as though these businesses always want to come into the Black community and to give our children asthma. And so we're not saying that we support that. What we're saying is that there have been decisions and policies made that right now we really can't change, but what we do want them to do is invest strong, hard money inside of our communities, into brick, mortar, so that our children can have a better future. And so I stand with Pat Bosch in terms of the decision that we only agreed to that factor, and we're hoping that he would sign the community agreement to do business, whatever he's going to do in this facility. And I think it was unfair to accuse her as just saying that she supported that. It's a little bit more detailed than that. There's some things we got to give and take on. And I think that that's where she was standing from that position.
Thank you for that, Pastor Brewer. Thank you so much for that. And I'm quite sure that's exactly where Pat was going with that. So thank you, Pat, as well, for bringing this to the table. So just some food for thought, council. You heard us. We don't want anything industrial there. So if you could support us in trying to get something worthy in our community that will, like Pastor Brewer and Pat Bosch were saying, that's going to be of benefit to our area. We need something more than a beauty shop. We need something that's going to help our community. Yeah, beauty shops are fine, but there's one on every corner. We need something more. And I agree with them 110%. So just hopefully you'll stand by us and let's not make this industrial. There's other spots that industrial can go in. Let's just not make it there.
I hear you loud and clear. Lima Charlie.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Pat, are you good with your questions that you had out there? Take yourself off of mute for me. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much for your patience and the time allotted to these heavy duty issues, but they are the very heart of our neighborhood. And you know that we have the best interests of the total community in mind. And Pastor Brewer said it far better than I could. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you all so much. Councilman, thank you for being in attendance at our meeting. I know you have long days and unfortunately our meetings start at 6, but thank you so much for attending, giving us your input, hearing our concerns. That means a lot. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
If you invite me, I will come.
Well, I'm gonna invite you every meeting. So don't put that out there because you'll be here every meeting.
Now, if I have conflicts, I got to be reasonable as well. But if I can make it and you invite me, I'm going to come.
Okay, we appreciate that because I know a lot of times we do have concerns that come up, and Terry has always been available, and I appreciate Terry coming. But sometimes we need you. We need you to be there. We need to see you. We need to make sure you're getting our concerns. So you will always be welcome at the meetings, and I will make sure you always get the link.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions we want to bring up? Because I know we're over our allotted time. So is there any other questions we want to bring up? I see Ms. Holmes.
Hello.
Hello, how are you
Hi.
this evening?
I'm well. Just a quick question in reference to the ordinances. And my concern is the ordinances to be enforced in the neighborhoods as far as example, residents not keeping their property up to par meaning that they have toys on the front lawn, trash bins or containers been left out after pickup, around their property. And we have also vacant lots and vacant properties, have trash around. So how are we going to enforce the ordinances to get the people to care about their property?
Well, one, they not gonna care about it. So let me just cut to the chase. We're just gonna be real about this. They don't care, but we're gonna have to make them care. So what we're gonna have to do is when you get that information, you have my email address, you have Sergeant Spruce, you have the NPO Hill, you have NPO Robinson. Give us those addresses and they will go out and take care of them because they're not gonna do them on their own. They need a little assistance.
Okay.
Okay, so pass that information to us and then they'll get out there and take a look at them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Pat Holmes, I see you're, did you have something to say? Oh, that was Pat? Oh, okay.
That was me.
I thought it was somebody else.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Pat. I don't know why I thought that was somebody else. That was moving too quick. Okay.
It's me.
Okay, so you have my email address, Pat. Send me the addresses or, Sergeant Spruce's email, anybody you want, but make sure we get them so that we'll know which homes to look out, to go after.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Joanne, who was it, Joanne? Joanne.
Yeah, sorry, this is, people asked about Motor City Makeover. It's May 15th for District 3. And earlier on in the chat, I put the link to register for it and also a link to the information session about it for us as well.
Oh, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, perfect. Are there any other questions out there? I did get one question and well, matter of fact, I got a couple of texts just a few moments ago and an email. We had an event planned for April the 9th up at the Belmont Shopping Center, and people are asking me why was it canceled? We wind up having to cancel that event. We canceled that event because from my understanding, we didn't get permission from the Belmont Shopping Center or Commissioner Birch. So the event I was told was just canceled. So we are going to reschedule this event. And when we do, I will make sure that you guys get the new flyer on where it will be. This was for a gun safety. This was for a gun safety event. We had the Pistons there. They were going to help us pass out the gun lock. We have too many kids being killed right now to be picky on where we need to be able to get the community involved in locking up these guns. No, everybody's not going to participate. You got knuckleheads that are just going to fly over their heads, but we have to try. We have to try to do what we can to help. So we are going to put this event on. And when we do put it on, we will make sure that you guys get notices so that these gun locks can get out to these homes with these kids in there. That is so mandatory because kids should not be dying at the rate they're doing because of guns. This is so senseless to me, and it's so heart-wrenching to hear this on the news because somebody left something and they're trying to protect themselves, but then you're leaving it accessible. We got to get these guns locked up. So when this event comes back out, I will make sure the flyer gets out and we're going to make sure that everybody participates. And if you need to take some to your neighbors, we're going to make sure you can do that as well. Okay. So thank you guys for that. And thank you for even, want to participate and helping us out in the community. Other than that, do we have any more questions? Any more concerns? We have the NPOs. We have
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am. Is that Yolanda McCann?
Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am.
This event was canceled because a community person, or was it the business owner?
Well, from what I'm being told, it was both. And I guess our NPOs didn't get permission to use the Belmont Shopping Center. Pardon me?
Well, that does, to me, it just doesn't sound right. They would have had to have gotten permission from whoever owns that facility up there in order to have a area blocked off for this event.
Correct.
And if a community person stepped in and stopped an event of this nature, they were wrong. They were wrong as two left shoes. That means that they are not a team player. And if they stepped in the way of the event because a name was not given or they were not asked permission, that was so wrong. If we're not going to be one group, we're not going to be team players, then we shouldn't even participate in nothing.
Right.
That was so wrong. As bad as we need those gun locks out, nobody that have a heart should have ever stopped nothing like that.
Yeah. And like I said, we're gonna work on this again, and we are definitely going to put this event back on, hopefully sooner than later. It was heart-wrenching to hear, and I got the news like everybody else. I mean, I was gung-ho, I was ready to go, and next thing I'm getting emails flying and phone calls flying saying what happened. I'm like, what happened to what? So unfortunately, that was an unfortunate situation. But these gun locks are gonna go out, and they're gonna go out to families and community and in the community, so that these kids can hopefully be a little bit safer. So we're definitely gonna put this back on again. But thank you for that, Yolanda. That's I tried it. It was kind of heart-wrenching, but thank you.
Yes, and it was. And if anyone who is listening, if they had any part in stopping this event, they were wrong.
Yeah,
they were wrong, and that's not right.
Yeah. So I kind of
and the corporate need to stand up.
Right. So I just wanted to do, because I got plenty of email. Like I said, I was still getting texts saying, are you going to say why or what happened? So I'm just bringing it to the forefront so people will know, and that when we do move forward, I will make sure you guys get a flyer and we can participate in this gun lot. This is a community event. It's not a me event. It's not an MPO event. It's an event for the community to help us to control what we can. To help control the killing of the kids. We gotta get some. We can't help everybody, but we darn sure gonna try to do the best we can. Okay. All right. I see Miss Bosch her hand is up. You want to unmute yourself, Miss Bosch?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Miss Birch just called and said she got cut off and that she wanted to answer Miss McCant's comments.
Okay.
So she called on my cell phone and I don't know how to put her back on. That's all I wanted to tell you, that she called and asked to be put back on so she could explain about this gun lock thing.
Oh, okay. Well, the only way she can do that, Pat, and you might have to let her know, but it is kind of going on 8:30, but she would have to dial back in. I can't put her back in. She would have to dial back in.
Let me try doing that. I will do that right now.
Okay.
She felt like she was shortchanged.
Okay, so in other words, is there any other questions or concerns? And if there is, let's bring it up. And if there's not, I know it's going on 8:30. The meeting should have stopped at 8, but I thought this was a very good conversation. So I just didn't want to cut it in midstream. But if you have to leave, I definitely understand, because this is, more time than we allowed. So I do appreciate it. Pat is going to try to get Commissioner Birch back on and explain maybe what happened. I'm just only going by what I'm told. And I mean, I'm quite sure an event wouldn't be canceled out the clear blue. So I would kind of like to see what she actually has to say on what happened with this between them and the Belmont. We never asked permission from Belmont before. So that was kind of I shouldn't say we never asked. We would go to the store owner and let them know that we have an event plan and it would be fine. So for an event to just wind up being canceled, the community, of course, was definitely heartbroken. So I'm gonna try to stick around to see to hear Ms. Birch, Commissioner Birch. If anyone has to drop off, I do understand. Thank you for the meeting tonight. And just in case anybody drops off, I just want to say thank you for attending tonight. I appreciate all of your time, all of our concerns, our efforts. I think this was a great, great meeting. Thank you, councilmen, for attending. Thank you, Terry Ketchen. You're always there and available for us. So thank you so much for the, all your participation and information that was given. So Ms. Bosch, is she dialing back in? Take yourself off mute. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Okay, she said she copied all the numbers down and was gonna dial in. She said for whatever reason, she was cut off, and she did want to explain to Ms. McCants. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know the event was canceled, but in fairness to her position, I'm sure she's trying to dial in.
Okay, so I told her we'll hang tight for a minute, but I know some people do have to get off because it is, past our 8 o'clock hour and there's family and things you guys got to do. So I understand if you have to drop off, but I am going to try to stick around and wait to see if Commissioner Birch would join back on our call.
It's wonderful that you.
All right, Ms. Jackson, I'm gonna. No, go ahead, Ms. Bosch.
I was just thanking Ms. Jackson for allowing freedom of speech at this meeting. It's not often that we can be able to discuss things maturely. Usually at City Council, we're given 30 seconds or 1 minute or 2 at the maximum, and that's very difficult for dialogue.
Right. And I think this was something that needed to be heard and discussed. I think it was a great meeting, and we can all agree to disagree, but we know we agreed on what we want at that shopping center. So we're, I mean, that's what we're here for. We try to do the best we can, Pat. So thank you for that.
And it was also good to hear from Commander Slappy sharing the concerns that she as a commander of the precinct has when it comes to enforcement and shortage of officers and the like. So that's what I see the value of these community relations meetings, because we walk in each other's shoes and we begin to know how to work collaboratively, as Ms. McCants said.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Thank you for that. Councilman?
Well, Kim, and everybody who's assembled, I'm going to take off now at 8:30. I'm going to go ahead and take care of some familiar responsibilities. But let us know what you need. Terry is here monthly to make sure that we get back with any concerns or answer any questions. So you know my phone number, you know how to get in touch with us. It's good to see everybody. And thanks for everybody staying this late and having these robust conversations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everybody.
All right, you too. Thank you, Councilman. Okay.
I don't know where she's at.
Yeah, and I'm getting a high sign. Our officers are kind of tired. It's late for them. So maybe next month she can give us an explanation, to Ms. McCants and myself to find out what's really, what happened. So tell her our apologies, but we do have to cut it because I know they're pretty tired. It's a long day for them. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your attendance tonight. Thank you for the great conversation, and we will see you all and talk to you all next month.